Welcome everybody to Fans of Train episode 22. And yeah, you guys are probably reading from the title, Armor or Not. Get it? Armor or Not. With a military train.
Armored or not?
But yeah. I am going to bring up a little bit about Ukraine into live stream and explain why why it is part of our not road system. All right. Reason why.
You're fine.
Oh my god. They heard that on video.
I'm charging this.
Val had a little oopsie.
You're fine.
That one is fully charged anyway. But Dana, the reason why I went for it and what's been going on in Ukraine is because one, when the Ukrainian blew up half the rail to stop the from transporting stuff by rail, there were a reason why, because they know it would have been easier for the Russians to invade by transferring it all by rail. Let's be honest.
Oh.
That's the only reason they were not able to invade.
Sorry, I cussed.
But yeah.
Particularly
Particularly that reason why their invasion is going through hell, and the reason why they're probably going to fail.
Oof.
Which I'm praying to God they do, but hope.
Sorry, David.
Because I hope Ukraine win, but I'm just waiting to see what is happening. But it's a crazy.
Ass kicked.
Yeah, hope.
Sorry. I do have Russian friends, but I hope Russia will get fucked.
Yep. Because them invading Ukraine was it awful and wrong.
Tell me about it, David.
But saying about Ukraine, I'm going to bring it up about Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it and add it all up and you start realizing, hey, reason why the Russians are having a hard time because the Ukrainian blew up half the rail system to stop the Russians from fully invading, with one of the reasons why. And when you just think about it, and start realizing, when you start realizing it, it's crazy. Because they would have been able to invade by rail a lot quicker, but it failed, you know? Let me try to get Griff in.
Who?
Our friend Griff.
Can you say hi to Griff to me?
I will. Hey, Griff.
Yeah.
You doing good?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, welcome to the live stream, man.
Hey, Mr. Griff.
Howdy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Griffin.
Hey, dude, I ended Rail Fanning a little too early today.
Oh, David.
What did you miss this time?
I missed a 4-train meetup.
Where
4 trains, three northbound and 1 southbound coming through the siding.
Christ.
Dude, that...
Yeah, I'd be pissed off too.
Oh my god. I went home and like around 3 o'clock because I thought there was nothing coming because I seen a high roller. Like I seen the high roller and I said, oh, well, that a bad sign, meaning nothing is going to come for another hour or so, probably 2 hours. So I decided.
Were you wrong?
Yep.
I've been there before.
Like have you ever seen a high roller and you just said, oh, that a bad sign, meaning no train is coming for a bit?
No, usually whenever I see a high railer, it means that something is going to be coming pretty soon.
I know, but usually down here
So
it.
that and what goes on the Pan Am Railways, they do everything fast backwards.
True. But the only reason why I'm going to bring it up because you never know. Like, there been a time that I seen a high railer and it took 4 hours before I seen a train after that high railer. But
Well, for me, whenever I see a high railer on the Northern Main, I'm just happy because
that
I don't
means
know how many times I see trains on that line.
how many?
Practically, maybe like twice or 3 times a week at most. I mean, when Norfolk Southern was running coal trains up to the power plant, we would see them more frequently.
I know.
And if passenger service are resumed to Manchester and Concord,
Oh boy, I lost
we
it.
would see more
Damn it.
rail traffic.
Do you think there will be more rail traffic in that area in a few years, or no?
Yes.
Can I borrow your earbuds, David?
Oh yeah, you can borrow my earbuds.
Because that's already in motion for the MBTA, Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority, to bring commuter rail service back into Manchester. It's not. Well, they gotta build the layover yard, build the station, and fix the track. So realistically,
Yeah, and
this is gonna be completed until like 8-10 years from now.
And I noticed that they've been double maining the single main track from some of the videos I've been seeing.
From the MBTA?
Yeah, in some area at the MPCA. Like, you know what? Right there in Massachusetts.
I know that system well because I rail fit most of the lines a lot. There's only a few places I haven't been to, but yeah, I mean, if they're able to double track the main line up to Manchester from Lowell, well, from Lowell to Nashua, they won't have a problem with that, but they will have a bit of an issue from Nashua all the way up into Manchester.
But yeah, but have you been keeping on with what's been going on with the PSR and how CSX is actually going to end PSR?
Yeah, I heard that they're gonna end PSR right around the same time they're supposed to acquire when they're supposed to acquire Pan Am.
Well, we're already seeing the effects of that on our line. Like, literally, you know how the locals begin with F?
Yeah.
They're now changing it to an L. So the locals are now going to be L trains.
Wait, I know. Well, I did know about that because Boston locals, for the longest time, they were B700, but now it's L001, although it's like 10 or something like that.
Well, and also I know for a fact that they've already been turning all the intermodal train into I trains.
Yeah, I know. And K trains. Yeah. Now, almost none of the manifest freights are going to be like autoracks or generic manifests are going to be Q trains. They're going to be like A or M or something like that.
Well, the manifest trains, like the big heavy trains through my area, like the ones that don't carry intermodal, are still counted as Q trains, you know?
What is Q trains,
right?
Like Q492, Q4010. Have you ever caught Q4010 before?
249.
Griffin, have you ever caught Q410 before? You did? Hey, I'm still here, bud.
Dude, man.
I'm still here, Griff.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Basic stuff.
But you cut out, so I don't know what the fuck happened.
Sorry, but I'm trying to ask. Have you ever caught Q410 before? That
No, because where they terminate, it's like a 6 hour drive from my house.
ooh. Yeah, but you know that train still come by my house, and it a good content. Like that train carry a good variety of stuff when you're rail fanning, you know, because you always want to get that variety.
410, like a year or two ago, no, it was little over a year ago. Every rail fan in New England went out to go catch it because it had all three of the Pride and Service units.
You know, funny thing is, I caught them on their way back on Q409. On Q409, when Q
Is 911 back in the storage line?
no, it's still operating. Heck, they had to repair that train back during the summertime because some idiot fell asleep at a drove on another train and caused one of the freight cars to swing out and hit it on its side.
I remember. I do remember that.
But it back in service.
I also remember 911's number board.
Yeah.
Yeah, 911's number board getting taken.
Some a-hole stole them. You know?
Yeah, one place I would love to go to is the Waterville scrap line up next to the yard in Waterville, next to the rail yard and
in Waterville, Maine?
Yep.
Nailed it. Hey, I got the more track plan on actual area that you might be interested in looking in later on.
Like, what cities?
Like in Midwest, like I got a couple in the Midwest, some up in the Northeast, up in Pennsylvania, one in New Jersey that might be pretty good, you know, for like a switching way out.
I'm mainly looking for rail plans in New England, mainly New Hampshire.
I do have a couple there.
Really?
Yeah, I can take screenshots of some of the areas that I mapped out on Google Map and scaled down to in scale. Like I can't remember all of them. Like I used to have papers that I used to write the number on back in high school when I used to scale them down into in scale.
I thought you were talking about like rail plans for
like from model train book. No, I actually do the real train. I actually map out area on Google Maps that can actually be modeled in model railroads from real life.
I thought you were talking about like fixing track in those states in real life, not in model form. That's what I thought you meant. But do you agree that it's a good thing that they are getting rid of PSR?
Excuse me.
Yeah, the two railroads that got hit the hardest with PSR, well, 3 is Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, and Burlington Northern Santa Fe.
Burlington Northern Santa Fe, if I'm right, they don't do PSR.
Oh, good. Thank you.
The only reason why I thought they did was how many locomotives they shipped off to get scrapped or sold.
Well, I know BNSF is the only railroad company that do not do PSR, what I heard.
Oh, is this clean, David?
Oh yeah, all that clean.
Okay.
But the thing is that it's GXX incident, you know, a lot of our railroads are going to follow suit soon, you know?
Yep.
hopefully Norfolk Southern does, so they can get a lot of their power back.
Dude, any news on Southern Railway locomotive, the Heritage unit?
No, what happened to it?
Do you remember what happened about a couple months ago with the landslide?
Yep.
No one had.
Did they rebuild it or did they scrap it?
Not sure yet. No one don't even know yet.
Wait, what other Heritage unit got hit?
None. Did that one?
I heard two 8099 along with another one.
Oh, that fake. It's fake, man.
Yeah, food.
It
I
acts.
thought 8099 along with another Heritage unit got scrapped.
No, it's fake, man. It did bullcrap lies. You know,
Crap, why?
it did the people in that one group that you're probably getting trolled by.
Oof. The NIMBYs.
You know?
Right. The only place.
Because you don't want to get that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense why CSX is ending PSR. That explains why so many old locomotives
Oh, David, I'm so hungry.
got reactivated, brought back into service.
Because of Maine and up there in the Northeast. Am I right?
That would make a lot of sense.
Because long haul trains won't work up there. Let's be honest, because it
But
all.
I could be wrong.
But can I be honest? Because a lot of places up there are short. I'm at point A to point B up there. Am I right? And it's not as far as it is down here in the south. You know, you got more condensed rail up there than you do down
One
here.
thing I found out that really pissed me off are the 4 remaining 600 series locomotives on the Pan Am Railways.
Oh, yeah, I know.
They shipped those off. They shipped
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 on a Monday, and they shipped the 4th one out on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And no one knew about it until they were like within 50 miles of East Deerfield, Massachusetts, which pissed a lot of us off because we were going to line the tracks to go see them on their final run.
Well, some people managed to catch them anyway. You know? Some people were able to catch them. But I think they did that on purpose because they don't want people realizing, you know? Am I right? But yeah.
Still there, David?
Yeah, I'm still here. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Griffin.
You just went silent, so I had no idea.
Probably because my tablet went to sleep mode sometime. When it,
Maybe your tablet blinking though.
oh, let me turn the camera on. That would probably stop it from happening, you know?
David. Can I
All right.
say hi to Griffin?
Oh, Vel said hi.
Hello.
Hi, Griffin.
But hey, you know, Vel's birthday was last week on the 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Last time we were on the call, you were telling me about that.
Oh yeah, that right. But
And like I was saying, I don't know if you could hear me, but I was saying how 4 locomotives that were on the Pan Am Railways got shipped off. 3 of them on Monday, and the final one on Tuesday, which pissed a lot of us off because, well, no one had any idea it was
going to happen.
going west until they were 50 miles within the East Deerfield Yard in East Deerfield, Massachusetts, which really pissed us off because a lot of us who used to see those locomotives all the time, we were going to line the tracks waiting for them to go by so I could see them on their final run.
Do you think they're going to send scrap or send to another railroad?
Oh, those 4 locomotives, 600, 604, 606, and 619, they already got sold to LTEX.
Oh God, we know what that is.
Yeah, but three of the other 600 series locomotives, 608, 610, and 612, are just sitting in LTEX. Those things
Wasting away and rushing
sold
up.
off years ago, so I don't know.
Because I know they sometimes do scrap locomotives sometimes. Am I right?
Yeah, but what's nice about Waterville, the other 600s that haven't gotten sold, one got rebuilt. Pan Am Railway 616 is now 3405, which I have seen before.
Mm.
And let's see here. All the other ones, 609 got saved out in Illinois, which was originally the Milwaukee Road Bicentennial locomotive.
Mm-hmm.
But 601, 602, 603, 605, 607, 611, 613, 614, 615, 617, and 618, all of those got scrapped up in Waterville like 2 years ago.
Like, we know when they're in Waterville. Like, can I be honest? I heard bad thing about Waterville. Am I right? If a locomotive ended up being parked there for a couple years, that bad news. Am I right?
Yeah, there's things I remember when Pan Am had those GP40 high hood locomotives, and they were sitting in the deadline for about like 2 or 3 months before they got scrapped. They started the process.
And the thing is, I know Waterton, if you have locomotives that are going there, you know it's bad news. Am I right?
Well, yes and no. The reason why I say yes and no is because there's also a pretty good sized rail yard in Waterville.
Mm-hmm.
They got like 4 mainline freights going in and out of there every day. Some two go to Portland. One, the train symbols are WAPL and POWA, one for each direction, and Waterville WAMN, which is Waterville to Northern Main Junction in Bangor, Maine.
Mm-hmm. I know.
If there's a bunch of locomotives lined in the deadline, where the deadline is and the scrapyard is, it's behind the roundhouse, and if locomotives are parked there, good luck seeing them ever again.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to one of my friends to see if we'd be able to go up there, and I asked my dad. He said that we can't.
Mm-hmm.
He goes up to Waterville for his job, and he drives a tractor trailer, and he was telling me that he's not allowed to. He can't go in there. So if he can't, then we can't.
Yeah,
Which sucks because my friend and I really want to go into the Waterville deadline and ask employees if we could get like number boards and horns. If we could have some number boards and horns.
Hey, well, you gotta hate this generation of railroading, am I right? Because if you go back almost 20, 30 years ago, you were able to go into rail yard, you would have been able to sign a slip, and you would have been able to go to rail yard. You could blame all that on 9/11, you know?
So, that's why we're not allowed to anymore?
Yep, 9/11. You remember 9/11?
I wasn't born during 9/11.
I was born about 3 years before it even happened. I was 3 when it happened.
I was born 3 years later.
And saying it that it all happened after 9/11. Like they got stricter.
That does make a lot of sense because everyone was extremely paranoid because world symbol got destroyed by terrorism, and everyone was so paranoid that everyone was scared beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
Where and if they would strike next.
Yep. And that would happen because even on railroad that don't enforce it, railroad that did not enforce it got penalized. Like they had to pay a fee or like a fine for letting people go onto the property. The FRA was enforcing it.
If you trespass, you get into serious trouble.
Yes.
If you get caught.
Mm-hmm. That one of the reason why. Like, I remember friends who are in their 50s, 40s now used to tell me that they were able to go into rail yard without getting in trouble. Like, they were able to go up to the office, and in order to go into the rail yard, they would have to sign slips, you know? And have to have badges on them, you know? All that ended, you know?
I think you still might in certain places.
You can, but that only if you're doing.
You need to have like special equipment, like safety vests and everything, to make it look like you work for the railroad.
Yeah, and also, so you have to have filming equipment, like if you're doing a documentary, you know? If you're doing something like that, like literally, like Danny Harmon,
Which one thing I would love to do is film a documentary on the Pan Am Railways. Go to as many places as I possibly can, and get all that. To get a bunch of nice videos and everything.
Hmm. And Jane is that
find as many train videos as I can. Just make one monster video
documentary,
so I can post it. One monster rail fan compilation video, so I can post it onto YouTube.
Oh, being that what I was telling you earlier, there are areas in Maine that you can do as a train layout up near one of the big cities, and it's very nice on how it's set up.
The only one they could think of that would be like that is Portland, Maine.
No, inland. There's another area. I will show you in a bit. It would get you interested. It inland into our city that is had the rail line that owned by Grand Trunk Western, or like not Grand Trunk Western, but Tennessee and Wyoming.
St. Lawrence and Atlantic.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're able to send me a picture, I can tell you exactly where. Wait.
Because
only place that I can think of where the Tennessee and Wyoming runs in Maine is the St. Lawrence and Atlantic, and one place that I know of is Lewiston Junction in Lewiston, Maine.
Yep. I actually mapped out where the line terminates at the end, where they have a big transfo facility, because they have a big transfo facility at the end of the line.
Yeah, transfer facility. I also know they do go down to Danville Junction to interchange with the Pan Am Railways. Yeah,
and I looked at the area, and the whole area could be done in an N-scale train layout.
Wait a minute. The transfer station in Lewiston, does that interchange with trucking companies or another railroad?
Like, they have an interchange with one railroad, at the beginning.
The only other interchange I know of is the Pan Am Railways, but I thought they only interchanged in Danville Junction.
Oh, well, what? I'm actually going to Google Maps right now. I will send you what I'm talking about. because
Okay, because I know those New England railroads pretty well.
I know. If I ever up there, would you like help me and Val when we're ever up there? If we ever rail fan up there?
Sure, as long as if I'm in college, you're kind of SOL, but if not, I can help.
But also, I'm going to bring up about armor trains. Have you been keeping track of the Russian armor train?
No, I haven't.
Well, Russia is deploying an armor train. Literally, armor train. And the Ukrainian knew it, and they actually blew up half their rail system. And it actually one of the reasons why Russia have not made it in yet, Because, let's be honest, if the Ukrainian did... you know what I'm saying? Alright, I'm about to send you the area. 1 minute.
Okay, I guess your dad went into sleep mode again.
Oh, no, I was on Google Map for a minute. I just sent you the area I'm talking about.
Okay,
the interchange is at the bottom where the airport is, and then the red line terminated at the top. I mapped the area out.
Okay, if you're able to map it out, take a screenshot, and send it to me, that would be great, so I can actually figure out what in the hell you're talking about.
Well, I just sent you one.
Yeah, send me the screenshot, but you didn't map it out, so...
Alright, well, I'm headed back.
Okay.
Well, you heard of Dead River Terminal? Oh, 1 minute.
I believe so.
The line...
David, and I know of one other place where there 3 railroads came together and interchanged in one location.
Oh, it was the line. One that I'm talking about? The one that you sold me that begin with L and then... What about the name of that line that begin with or railroad that begin with L again?
The St. Lawrence and Atlantic?
Yeah, that's the line.
Okay.
This
was way back in the 60s. Well, from say the early 1900s or something like that, all the way up until 1960 something, 1970 something.
Well,
I'm not technically sure, but in Portland, Maine, where Rigby Yard in South Portland is now, there used to be an interchange with 3 different railroads. With 4 different railroads.
But now there are only 2. Am I right? And now,
well, let me finish with this. The Portland Terminal, Maine Central, Boston and Maine, and Grand Trunk Western.
Mm-hmm.
Swing bridge that the Grand Trunk Western used to get into Portland.
Mm-hmm. Oh, can you say
the swing bridge burnt.
You already told me about
the mechanism in the swing bridge burnt. So in '86.
Oh, grass.
But the line from the B&M Baked Bean Factory into Portland hasn't been used since 1976.
Oh, Griffin, you already told me about that before. You remember?
Oh yeah, and I think I already told you that the Baked Bean Factory is being turned into condos.
Oh, so Mama, I'm alive.
And further up the line, that area of rail from, I don't even remember which towns. is going to be turned into a rail trail.
Oh, you know I hate those. Like you remember when I told you about that earlier.
Yeah, which sucks because there used to be a lot of customers on that line that the St. Lawrence and Atlantic used. The most notably was the B&M Baked Bean Factory, but they switched that over to trucks.
Because a Grand Truck.
But back in 2014, 2015, my dad had to haul into that. My dad had to haul into there all the time.
You know, it's dumb because we don't need everything being put on freaking trucks. Am I right? Like,
Well, I mean, the trucks work with the railroads. Railroads transport stuff long distances, but trucking, they do the door-to-door work. Which, let's say, you have a shipment of iPads that's in Worcester, Massachusetts, that needs to get to the distribution center in Raymond, New Hampshire. The only way you would be able to do that is trucking.
Yeah, and I do agree. Like, trucking can be good for short haul, but for long distance and like for a massive industrial area, I don't agree with. Like, if it like to smaller area, then yeah. But if it like in industrial area or long distance, that where it does not work at because you need a because
sometimes trucking, like over the road trucking, going from one side of the country to the other, that does help if there's only, let's say, a small shipment of something that doesn't require an entire intermodal train. If there's like a half a shipment of, let's say, let's say there's a shipment
of laptops
that has to get from Los Angeles, California to Boise, Idaho. There isn't any intermodal services that goes from Los Angeles to Boise. So trucking long distances, that is one of the only ways you can do that. You get from point A to point B if there's no intermodal terminals around for miles.
I know. But here, Zane, we used to have boxcar and like depots, transload facility or warehouses. We screwed up by getting rid of all those, Like the world literally came here to look at our warehouses and how we transferred stuff from truck to train, from box trailer to box cars, and how efficient it was. And
there's still some places around in New England that still has transfer stations from box cars to tractor trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are still around.
I know.
Yes, they aren't as common as they used to be, but you have to understand, nothing lasts forever.
I know.
You realize that, right?
I know it doesn't last forever, but I also know about crooked competition and all that too. Like, I know what happened back in the 50s and 60s when we did the Interstate Act. I know all the corruption. I know all of it, man. Like,
Yeah, I know, but sometimes you have to fuck over the competition to have a competition.
True, but sometimes
that's the whole part of business. You have to screw other people over to get ahead.
But sometimes it can backfire like it is right now. Like railroad, and let's be honest, railroad isn't making a comeback. Am I right?
Oh yeah, and
with the gas price. Oh, you.
with CSX taking over the Pan Am, we're going to see newer power be better power, and Dave, you have to understand some of the newest locomotives that's on the Pan Am system is about like 35 years old already.
Yeah, I already know that. Like, you guys got hand-me-downs. Like, heck, like right
Everything.
before.
Christ Almighty! Some of the GP40 standard cab locomotives we have is from the New York Central system.
Ooh, give those to some heritage railroads. You know, those would be fitting for a heritage museum right there. Am I right?
Yeah. A lot of the locomotives came from. Well, some came from Seaboard Coastline. Some came from Conrail. Most of the GP40 standards came from Conrail. The high hoods came from N&W. The wide cabs came from Canadian National. The Dash 8s came from the B40-8s, and C40-8s came from Conrail and CSX.
I know before CSX and Canadian Pacific came back in, and before that, you used to have no Class 1 for about 30 years, you know? Like, this...
Well, I heard... I don't think this is true, but I heard Boston, Maine, and Maine Central were Class 1s, along with Guilford, but I don't believe that.
They're not. They were Class 2s. They were Class 2s.
Yeah, because there isn't enough... They don't have enough tracks to have a fully fledged Class 1 railroad.
You don't have to have track. You have to make a lot of money. Danny, you have to make a lot of money. You don't have to have that much tracks.
Which Maine Central and Boston, Maine did, but...
They made a lot of money, but it was not enough to become a Class 1. Montana Rail Link almost become a Class 1.
They did make enough money, but Boston, Maine filed for bankruptcy in 1974, 1975.
Yeah, reason why that happened was because of the Pan Am collapse, you know?
Boston, Maine came around... Boston, Maine started in the 1830s, 1840s, 1836. They filed for bankruptcy in 75. And it hit Manchester really hard because they closed 3 branch lines down. They shrunk the main line down to 1 track. Actually, both rail yards in Manchester were gone completely.
Mm-hmm.
The piggyback facility shut down. The oil facility shut down.
Woo.
Countless businesses closed up shop.
That why you need to make sure railroads stay open, because if it don't, the towns die. Am I right?
Yeah, that's why Manchester's in such a bad spot right now.
Yeah, that reason why the town in Erie a ghost town. Am I right?
No, it's not a ghost town. It's overrun by homeless.
Heck, I don't know how
one of the yards in between the main line and the river are all condos and the baseball stadium.
All that didn't need to be burnt down to the ground. Am I right? Burn all that to the ground and rebuild up that we will bring in money and help the town, you know?
Well, back in the mid to late 2000s, one of the final businesses in Manchester, the Manchester city limits, were a meat packing plant. They closed its doors, and where Elliott River's Edge is, the hospital, that's where the old meat packing plant was.
Mm-hmm. I've been looking it up. An area and towns that lost the rail connections and have abandoned rail are even worse places to live than areas that have active rail. You know?
Yeah, Manchester does have some active rail, but it's
Barely enough to keep the town alive. Am I right?
yeah. Out of the 3 branch lines that they had, none of them would be able to get brought back.
They would have.
Because all 2 out of 3 are paved over for trails.
You know,
Manchester and Lawrence line, they cannot lay track down because they paved practically the whole branch over, and B, the branch line ran right through the Manchester-Boston Regional Airport.
That right there have a connection.
Well, I mean, once the commuter rail gets up to Manchester, there will be a commuter rail stop for the airport.
Do you know the reason why they put concrete over it? The concrete is a deterrent to stop them from rebuilding the rail line. It's little techniques that NIMBYs who love bikes like to do. Did you know that?
No.
It really is. The NIMBYs, they do it a lot.
There's another branch, the Portsmouth branch. There used to be a diamond in Newfields where Rockingham Junction is. I don't think they'll be able to bring that back because, none of it's paved, but they put in new ballast and they filled 3 tunnels and lowered them. They're about 6.5 feet tall.
That right there is suspicious too, you know? They probably did that on purpose too when you did think about it.
I mean, Manchester and Lawrence closed its doors at least in the state of Hampshire in 1989, and the Portsmouth branch in between Newfields and Manchester closed its doors and officially closed its doors on that section in 1987.
Heck.
Let's see what else. And they might be able to get brought back if enough money is funded and industries are able to get opened up again.
I do.
And the final one, the Goffstown branch, which used to run from Manchester all the way out to North Walpole, New Hampshire, I believe. But in the 70s, would only go as far as Goffstown, New Hampshire, which is 1 town over.
You know, funny thing is, the same thing happened in the area called West Ashley, a part of downtown Charleston.
I'm not finished. They closed its doors in 1981 because, let's see. There used to be a wooden bridge in Goffstown, New Hampshire to get to. There used to be a slaughterhouse. Well, no, not a slaughterhouse. Farm factory, or however they have factory farming.
That
half-mile past the station. So what they would do is bring livestock cars up to the factory load all the animals in for slaughter, but they stopped that shortly after livestock cars were outlawed, I believe.
They outlawed though in the about the early 90s. They were outlawed in the early 90s by a dude who paid the FRA and the Transportation Safety Board, who worked for trucking, to get it all instead put on trucks. Did you know that?
No.
They did.
I didn't even know when livestock cars were gone.
Like they all disappeared by 1991. The railroad that used them was Union Pacific in California. But
well, as I was saying, the wooden covered bridge that spanned over, I forget what river it was on, that they went over, that burned down in 1976. So industries past the bridge were forced to be switched to trucking, and the train station was just on the other side of the river, so passenger services on that line were cut completely.
You know, did any Greyhound bus service or bus services got started up after that, or
No idea.
or expanded their routes?
No, I can't say I do.
Because I did a little research in that area before, where the burnt out trestle is, because I know where you're talking about, and I noticed that there are a lot of bus stops and their trucking company. Like, ain't it kind of odd when you notice the bus stop in some of the bus routes in that area? You start connecting the dots together and start realizing that
nobody knew who set the bridge on fire. A lot of people think it was just a couple of delinquent kids. But
I really don't think so, because that's what they want you to think. You know, the competition wants you to think that.
That's what the Goffstown police chief said in 1976. But anyway,
you know, the cops up there can be corrupt. Am I right?
Well, they officially closed its doors in 1981 on the Goffstown branch because one of their final customers, New Hampshire Doors, was switched to trucking. But there were also some industries over near I-293, and if you go past the trestle that spans over the Merrimack River and I-293, you can see where the track, where the gradient slopes down and turns. That's where the old roadbed was. And there used to be a bunch of street running, and the locomotives that were used rolled SW1s because of their small wheelbase. When they closed the doors on the Goffstown branch, everything on that line went as well.
You're so dirty.
I know there were a railroad up in not Maine but in Vermont that had a lot of street running and used like GE 40s. You know?
GE 44 tonners? No.
Yeah. You know what line I'm talking about?
Do you know what city it was in? Because I think I'd be able to figure it out from there.
I can't remember, but it's along the Amtrak route, the one that goes through Vermont.
Oh.
And it
Oh yeah, I know exactly where that is.
And it used to have a lot of street running at one town because they had a lot of industrial buildings.
Yep, Randolph,
Yeah, that
Randolph, Vermont.
dude.
There still is some street running where the Amtrak station is.
I know, but not a lot like it used to been. It's a damn shame what happened up there, you know?
Well, do you want to? Okay, got a quick history lesson for you. You want to know why there were so many railroad tracks in northern New England? Like,
Because of paper mills, lumber mills, all of that.
yep, paper mills and lumber mills and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want to know how many lines got abandoned because of the decline in the lumber mills and paper mills?
A lot. Like,
Yep, I know of. Oh Jesus! Let's see. I know about like 15 abandoned rail lines in New Hampshire alone.
mm-hmm.
15.
It's just crazy when you just think about it, you know?
And there's 5 in southern New Hampshire alone. But up near like North Conway, Lanconia, and near Mount Washington, places up there are so many
Mm-hmm.
branch lines that are abandoned. One of the branch lines, the Conway branch, it is used from Wallingford, New Hampshire, up to Ospey
Or
because of the New Hampshire North Coast, but from Ospey up into Conway, North Conway, and all those places up in that area, they're not used, but the tracks are still there. They didn't tear them up.
it good because that would be something invest in the future with Transflo facilities, you know? Because Transflo,
But one place I've always wanted to go to, and it would be amazing if I was able to go to that back in its heyday, is Whitefield, New Hampshire. If you know your history, if you know your New England Railroad history, you know what's up there.
yes, I do. Whitefield was pretty
The
good.
only place left in Christ, I believe the only place left in the United States of America where they still use ball signals. There's only one place in America they still have ball signals up, and that is in Whitefield.
Yep. Heck, you know they are a landmark now, meaning they cannot be torn down. They got that protected status now.
Even the railroad tracks that's surrounding it.
Those are protected too. Explain the reason why they never got torn up. But that track is the only way out to the outside world.
That and it's still there's maybe like one train that goes up to Whitefield occasionally. But I heard if they do this, they're gonna be breaking some laws. I heard that some people are gonna try to tear up the old Main Central tracks in Whitefield.
Ooh, that's gonna be a lawsuit right there, and some people are probably going to end up in jail.
Yeah, especially since that line, sometimes the Conway Scenic Railroad runs special excursion trains. Well, for a while, they used to go all the way to Whitefield, but they had a lot of paperwork to sign because they run over a lot of exempt crossings.
Mm-hmm. You know, maybe if CSX can help with this.
I don't know exactly where they go, but it is really close to Whitefield.
I actually mapped out where the whole line used to go to, and it used to interchange in Vermont.
Yes, I know back in the day, the Main Central used to interchange with the Grand Trunk Western in 2 locations.
Mm-hmm.
Portland, Maine. Well, technically 3. Portland, Maine, Danville Junction, and St. Johnsbury, Vermont.
Mm-hmm. And James, I realized because that area under national landmark protection, they cannot tear it up. It's under protection, meaning if they do that, they'll have the U.S. government on their behind. The U.S. government. Am I right?
Yeah, there's a lot of rail lines in New Hampshire that goes through some very scenic places.
Mm-hmm. And in Maine, that another thing too. Like,
yeah, I know. Part of the old Maine Central Mountain Division, I've walked from North Windham all the way into Island Falls, I think.
Now,
which is really close to Westbrook.
Now, I'll be honest, they really messed up when they abandoned that line. They really effed up. That was the thing that I realized that was F up. Day. Because
my dad could tell you. My dad remembers the decline on that line because where he used to live for about 10 years was right next to the mountain division. You would see trains roll through there multiple times a day, every day. But then it went from every day to every other day to like 3 times a week, then twice a week, then just down to once a week.
Mm-hmm. And I did the research, and the reason why was because there were people lobbying to abandon the rail line and get all its business to pay tax for rail service. I looked up a little dirty thing that most people don't pay attention to. It's called a rail tax. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, you did tell me about that last time we were on a call.
Yeah, they did that here in Charleston to the old Krogan branch and the main line that used to go to Johns Island from Savannah. All that is gone now.
What my dad remembers was he remembers seeing used to see
U-boats.
Everything that the Maine Central had from 1976 to 1986.
Like they're
seeing everything that they had.
Like U-boat, GP, the wide caps, like the GP wide caps. Though I heard were good.
Maine Central never had GP wide caps. They had high hoods. They just never had wide caps.
What railroad did had them in Maine at the time? Because I know there are still a lot of railroads that still run them up there in the Northeast, up there in New England.
You're thinking of the Pan Am Railways.
Yeah. Oh. PO90, gotta get the scanner out. Get the scanner out.
Let's see. He remembers seeing the Maine Central locomotives in the Harvest Gold. He heard that the Maine Central didn't get bought. It got merged with the Boston and Maine. Then he was mad because everything he would see, all the locomotives he would see were black, like Guilford locomotives. And the last time there was freight train that ran from Portland, Maine to St. Johnsbury, Vermont was in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
But the line didn't officially become abandoned until 1996.
2 years before I was even born. You could blame that on Pan Am. Because Pan Am...
Wait, you said you were... Oh, okay. You said you were 3 years old when 9/11 happened. For some reason, I thought 9/11 happened in 1999.
No. 9/11 happened in 2001.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I was born in 1998. Right 2 years after the line abandoned. Same year that the Tennessee Pass was abandoned by Union Pacific.
Let's see. What other things I remember about that line? I know. Well, most of the line isn't torn up, where the paved trail is, it's next to the rail line.
Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, I do see the line still being salvable. Let's be honest, I do see it being salvable and being bring back from the dead.
That is never gonna happen. Mountain Division, never gonna happen. And I'll tell you why. Because my dad was telling me, and I've seen this for myself, there is infrastructure that cannot be damaged in any way, but it has. There's tracks that has to get replaced altogether. All of the ties, all the rails have to get replaced because the ties are rotting and falling apart, and the rails are so goddamn rusty. It's insane.
I know for a fact there's one area that is underwater right there near the Cass Scenic Railroad, or like, yeah. Like, there's one area that is underwater for a bit because they forgot to keep maintaining it,
Well, let's see what else. Railroad crossings would have to get put up. Some would have to get fixed. Quite a few would have to get completely redone. Like, replaced from the crossbucks to actual safe train signals. Regular signals would have to get replaced. On the Mountain Division, there's only one place where there's old main central signals, railroad signals, not railroad crossing signals, regular old railroad signals. There's only one place that still has one. That's up in Bartlett, New Hampshire. And if you add all that up, like, replace the track, make it 4 trains can go maybe like 30, 40 miles an hour, that would cost, and with everything else, replacing bridges, replacing tracks, ties, railroad crossings, it would be estimated at almost, they're not going to, if they thought about it, CSX even said they were planning on it, but they said that they weren't, it was a mistake. They'd only go from
now, they don't have to do the mountain.
Maine all the way out to North Conway, New Hampshire to interchange with the Conway Scenic Railroad. And if they were able to pull it off, have the Conway Scenic, maybe do excursion services all the way to Portland, Maine. But from Portland all the way to North Conway, in that area alone, it would cost almost $100 million.
Now
replace everything.
Now I do see CSX doing right where the old ball signals are. I do see them, if they do get that area, I do see them rebuilding the interchange track and going right through to Vermont. I do see them.
There's just one problem. There are no industries in Vermont. The only reason why the Mountain Division hung on for so long was because of all the industries in Maine and New Hampshire.
Well,
I was looking around on Google Maps to see where everything was. There is absolutely nothing. There are no industries in the state of Massachusetts on that line.
Well, CSX would probably use it as a through line where they don't have to go through Canada, because the line that interchanges the Cass Scenic with the outside road, that line head from Maine up to Canada,
Yeah, the Conway Scenic. Yeah.
So,
but like I said, yes, they theoretically could get it done, but I told you everything that would have to happen.
Well,
That's just in Maine alone. In New Hampshire, you have to battle with the Conway Scenic Railroad. You would have to
CXX.
cross the whole line. The Conway Scenic runs. It's all single track, so you would have to battle it out with Conway Scenic
CXX.
to get trackage rights.
Here kicker CXX been playing kind with short line tourist railroads. They've been playing kind with them, so like they've been helping out with a lot of tourist railroad and historic railroads. So CXX might pull what Norfolk Southern used to do, like when Norfolk Southern used to help short lines and tour railroad. CXX might take something out of Norfolk Southern playbook and help them, and also try to expand to try to get to Vermont again, like to rebuild so they can both work together.
Excuse me?
Because
if the Conway Scenic does expand any place, a lot of people are betting that they would go east into Portland because flying in through there is really nice, especially when the tracks follow the southern edge of Sebago Lake.
I know that if they do get a chance to do that, like rebuild that line, like I noted that the main line that they do use, like I noticed it right before they get into like the mountain area where the canyon is with the steel bridge. I know that two lines connect. Like I know one line came in from the other area and one came in from the area you're talking about from Maine, from Portland.
Right. That, and if, let's say, there's a derailment in between Portland and St. Johnsbury, let's say you need to get to Bellows Falls, but there's a severe train derailment in Ayer, Massachusetts, and you have no good way of getting to Bellows Falls.
Excuse me?
And you're right outside Portland, or in Portland at the time, you could just go north and veer onto the Mountain Division and go all the way out there.
That could work because the line don't have
to go downwards.
The line don't have to be used for business. It could be used at a reroute or a cut around, where they don't have to go through Canada.
Yeah, but the only issue with that is there is a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit you have to use, especially if the line is just used as a through route, which the Mountain Division technically was for a long time.
Yes.
And that's something that I know the trucking company did not like that because it was a through route, which it played into their hands like a bee going into a honey trap, let's say.
Yeah.
But
let's see what else do I remember? Not remember, but I read about.
Now they can use the interchange line, the line that interchange with Pan Am that go to Whitehorse or Whitefield. They can use that and rebuild track there and keep rebuilding track through Whitefield to head to Vermont, cutting around.
Right, but
that could be more.
But there's more issues with that
because you got
the line,
NIMBYs.
The line that goes through Whitefield, that's not owned by Pan Am. That's owned by New Hampshire Central. And from what I've heard, they're not all that kind to Class 1 railroads.
I
That's
can
why
I can
they
see
operate-
why.
That's why
Why?
they operate with Genesee and Wyoming and not any of the past ones.
Probably because of what happened, you know? But if I'm right, like if they give CXX a chance, like from right there, like rebuild the interchange and go into Light Feather and keep on going into the Vermont, that could be a big boost for tourism there. And heck, they could connect with the Amtrak Vermonter, you know? That could
But,
work.
well, I don't think it could because the nearest Amtrak stop is Bellows Falls, which is about 40 miles from St. Johnsbury.
Well, I know for a fact Amtrak would want to get on that gravy train because of all the skiing area, all the tourist areas. That would be
That
big.
and with all the ski mountains that's around the mountain division.
That would be big bucks for Amtrak right there, you know?
Well, especially for the ski trains.
Like heck, like they do one in Colorado. Amtrak do a ski train in Colorado. Like if they do that there, if they can work with CXX and the Cass Scenic Railroad, they can actually make something
If
happen.
they work with CSX, Conway Scenic, and the New Hampshire Central, and possibly, I was going to say the St. Lawrence and Atlantic, but they don't run on the Mountain Division. They run on the old Grand Trunk line.
And what I noticed, like, Jane, if they all work together, like, they don't have to reopen the Mountain Division, only the track above it, like where they interchange up at right there up in White Feather. Like, if they rebuild that and rebuild the track into the Vermont, there'll be a lot of capability, a lot of tourism. CXX don't have to go through Canada. Like, literally, there'll be a lot more capability, you know?
Right, but the odds of that happening are going to be slim to none.
Never say
All
never.
I'm going to say is we can dream all we want, just don't hold our breath because it's realistically not going to happen.
I know, but the other chain that they would have to deal with is the NIMBYs, you know, the NIMBYs that set up shop along the line. Gotta deal with those a-holes. Like literally.
Like I said, don't hold your breath.
Well, NIMBYs are starting to lose ground anyway. Heck, our generation are getting sick and tired of them and didn't want to oof them up. You know?
Yeah, it's the generation that's before ours. That's why there's so many rail trails everywhere.
Yeah, you can blame the boomers. The boomers are the reason why all this is happening.
Yeah, rail trails and quiet zones.
Dumb, you know, they're dumb. They are freaking dumb. They all just needed to kick the bucket. Am I right?
Yeah. Quiet zones I hate with a passion because
they're dumb, and the stupid Karen and Kevins is what I call them because they're
no, it's not because they're dumb. They're dangerous. They're borderline deadly.
Exactly.
Because if you have your earbuds in and not help.
Yeah, look down in Florida. It's bad down there, you know?
Yeah. And in between Portland, Maine, and Brunswick, or Portland and Freeport, and I think all the way up into Brunswick, every railroad crossing is posted no train horns.
But
which is, like I said, that's fucking dangerous.
You know, if I were in office and the people try to protest and say, put a quiet zone in, I said, no, Karen, You're dumb. You're dumb. Shut the F up with your no bullshit, no zone thing and get the hell out of here. That's what I would tell her, you know? Haha.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the quiet zones where they play a fake train horn because it's somewhat, at least they play something so that motorists will know, hey, there's a train coming. Better watch your fucking ass because you're about to die.
Mm-hmm.
It's the quiet zones where there's nothing in place, and all the engineer can do is just ring the bell, which is not very effective because when you just ring the bell, no one knows where the train's going to be coming from.
Exactly. And Dana, it's the dumb NIMBYs.
And when the rail crossings go off and you don't hear anything, people just assume that there's a malfunction, disregard it, and end up getting hit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
that also happened to one of my friends a while ago because the railroad crossings, Granite Street, they never dropped down. One of my classmates also got hit by a train. Almost wrecked his truck.
You know, a family
of a freight train.
Did my freaky
on my line, the old Boston, Northern Main line, they haven't done track work on that line since I think Guilford took over.
Did might shock you, but a family member of mine got hit by a train. It would not by suicide. It would not because he was walking on tracks. His body was placed there. People thought he was living with it, but a family member of mine, he was killed by them. They choked him to death. And they placed his body on the train track, and he got hit by a train. Go. But, yeah. You gotta go?
I gotta go. Talk to you later, dude.
Alright, later, man. Alright. Later. Alright, that was my friend, me and Vel friend, Griff. But the thing that happened is that I'm just bringing it up real quick, is that my family member of mine, he was murdered and his body was placed on the track and he got hit by a train and it was all a cover-up. And the people who did it, they got away with it. Because his body was discriminated against, you know. They technically already got away with it because they already closed the case and everything. But, yeah. But, yeah, let me go to... Alright. There we go. And Jason online too. But let me talk about the armor train. Because that's what did live stream what originally supposed to be about. Before we got talking into New England stuff. Like, if you guys been watching about the armored trains and stuff and that right up into point in Ukraine, the thing about them is that Ukraine knew that, and that reason why they blew up all the rail lines heading and coming from Russia, because they knew it was going to happen. And good knew it because they did it. It slowed down the invasion. There are reason why the Russians are getting heavy losses because they're not able to do stuff by rail. Because the Ukrainian hit them hard. Just think about it. That's the reason why. Most people don't realize that. But yeah. And most people don't even think about it in a way. Chicago Rail fan, please for the love of God, go to the Discord chat. Go to the group chat on the page. But they seem to happen
Oh, my back hurts.
Go there, man. All right, we'll cue it in. Have you been keeping track of the armor trains in Ukraine?
No.
Oh, you have not, dude. I'm gonna bring it up about reason why Rel and what's been going on in Ukraine is so involved here in the U.S. You know?
Yeah.
The thing about it, you know how the Russians are having a hard time transferring stuff over by road because the Ukrainian destroyed the train tracks in coming from Russia.
Yeah.
If you just think about that like if you think about it in a way, the Cargo Rail fan, if you just think about that and see how they're moving stuff by road and they're having all sort of problem and stuff and not going right for them, and reason why the Russians are losing. If you did think about
stuff by rail, all right, good. I'll listen to this.
Yeah, the reason why the Russians are losing is because they are not able to do stuff by rail. Have you thought about that? Have you?
So you're encouraging the Russians to transport by rail. Gotcha. All right.
No. Rail, it's a cargo.
Yeah.
No, I'm.
No way. I'll tell the guy at CSC that you're trying to encourage the Russians.
I do not support Russia. Saying it, if I was the Ukrainian, I would use that against them, you know? Force them on the roads and then oof them up from there, left and right. You know what I mean?
I don't know where the car notes are. So.
Yeah.
Like, literally, they've been doing that.
David.
Like, literally.
Useful for one.
One, I support the Ukrainian, and it was smart of them to blow up those tracks. It made it even harder for the Russians to invade. Which was a smart move. But, yeah. But, reason why I'm bringing it up about here in the U.S. is because, look, we're having a hard time transferring stuff here in the U.S. and we need to put it all back on rail, you know?
Yeah, Ravenel is train station again.
Can you please stop with the Ravenel train station? Can you please quit with that?
It's funny.
Dude, literally, this live stream will both be a serious one, like literally. But
yeah, I mean, I guess it was trying to be serious when you started at 6:29. I don't know, 3 a.m.
And you know, I missed 4 trains today. I left the tracks way too early. An hour later, we had 4 trains meeting up. Like we had one southbound coming in on the side, and we had 3 northbounds going around it on track 1. It was a 4-train meetup. And I really missed it because of that. Ugh.
Imagine getting a few trains a day.
Hey, but we get about 20 trains per day.
I could just walk out of my house and just spot the trains from here.
Hey, same with me. I can do the same. But
Nah, but I've got hours worth of it. Plus, they have a train station where they can stop.
Whatever. But yeah.
Oh, well. Wasn't there something else you were talking about?
About New England. About the railroads up there in New England.
Uh-huh.
About all the interesting stuff about the New England railroads and all of that.
Which is?
With how many lines they used to have, how much more active they you've been. Like literally, if you go back in the day up there in New England, they used to have a lot of trains running back and forth, and more than they do now.
Is that so?
It's crazy.
Huh.
But
Wait,
yeah,
I was gonna ask you something. Oh yeah, I still remember that photo you sent me. The one where it said your friend got it at the Demon Mobility plant.
that was a troll. That was a freaking troll.
You've been hanging out with that guy's name was again. Man, that guy's gonna remind me.
I was just trying to troll you, you know? See if you fell for the bait. Sadly, you did not.
I've seen your spelling before. I think that was an accident.
Well, I was just trying to troll you for the shit and giggles.
Yeah. Alright. That means you're the largest Demon Mobility plant?
Whatever. Well, I do gotta get ready to go eat dinner and get ready for bed.
Come on, David. It's 7:40. Well, it's 8:47 at your place. But
Well-
you stay up till like 3 a.m. to stream Voice of Autism.
Well, reason why that happened that night was because Vela emotional. Can't blame her. That understandable.
Why was she still emotional? I don't understand.
My a-hole sister. My sister is one of those total shitbags. You know, the ones that you didn't want to get kicked out and leave them outside?
I see.
Yeah. My sister is a real piece of garbage. G check we
Move out of the house then. Make some money. Pay a house. Simple.
but yeah. Oh, I forgot the photos, but I will talk to you later on, Chicago Rail fan.
Photos. I want to see photos.
No.
Photos of what the house we live in now, because it's not like it was back when you guys looked at it back then.
The Chicago Rail fan.
Yes. Let me see photos.
That'll be in a bit when the sun come up. It's already nighttime here.
I'm gonna mess with you, Chicago Rail fan. What's up, man?
I actually got a couple video of the house on my YouTube channel.
Where?
David,
I haven't
corn
seen a
dogs
single
for
one of your 1,000 videos.
Garn ducks for dinner, David. Hear me?
How many are there?
You can get two.
All right, but yeah, I will do that in a bit. But I'm hungry, you know. All right, well, I'll talk to you later,
Ravenel train station.
All right, later, Chicago Rail fan. All right, well, we got two guests on tonight.
David!
Me and Grifton. Oh my god, that was crazy. Ah.
You didn't come to approach me, David. I'm a
What?
Chicago Rail fan, too.
But damn.
What? Sorry, David. Let me try.
But Griffin is
How long,
doing
you guys?
something, and
Donkey Kong sucks.
I ended it with Chicago Rail fan because I got to get ready to eat dinner and go to bed early
Oh,
because I'm actually thinking about stuff in the morning.
train stuff.
Hopefully, I could do some train stuff in the morning, but I might not be able to. Going to probably go do my taxes
The tax-
before work.
The filing of the tax, right?
Probably that, but hopefully I could get lucky because of some stuff. But yeah, maybe sometime later on this week I can get lucky and don't get effed up by rain, because it seemed like every time I have a day off, it went to rain. But yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Please like and subscribe, and
I love the white belly poo.
my lovely live Velipoo, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys. Sorry, David. I was just